Welcome, welcome. Welcome everyone to another e-commerce growth meetup. It's already a 10th edition, Arek. Congrats to you and me and everyone else
To us.
that we kept it, that we're consistent, So many people start doing something, but they never continue. So that's good. So welcome. This is Ewa Wysocka. I'm the CEO and founder of at Stripe 47, also of a small e-commerce subscription company, Portal Yogi, and this is Arek.
Yeah, I'm Arek. I'm the CEO and co-founder at Sublime Analytics platform.
So basically, together we grow e-commerce companies. We consult and execute Sublime measures. So Tribe plus Sublime plus many other things actually equals growth. So if you want to grow, definitely listen to us. You can always talk to us as well on LinkedIn or via email if you have some other questions, not even related to the topic of this presentation. Our partners of today's event are Enjoy Growth newsletter, Loyalty Roots, a company that is connected to Tribe and provide loyalty solutions, Synerise, and of course Tribe and Sublime as the co-organizers. Synerise is the marketing automation AI-based platform, and one of their representatives gonna deliver one of the talks today. So when it comes to the event agenda, we're going to start by a very short presentation by me and Arek, just to give you super basic overview of what does personalization really mean, because it can be a very broad subject, and we just wanted to give you a background on the spectrum of topics that we will cover today. But it will be super short, don't worry. And then we're going to go into smart personalization, marketing automation that builds relationships, and is going to be delivered by Magda from Tribe 47, who's the marketing automation expert. So this will be a marketing automation perspective, and then a behavioral AI-driven approach to personalized promotions. And it's going to come from Jakub Madej from Synerise. So actually, this is one of the more advanced solutions that personalizes the entire customer experience. So I'm very curious what they're gonna show today when it comes to promotions. And we know that Q4 is a promotions period because Black Friday is coming and all the other things. So that's probably going to be useful. And then we're going to end up with a panel discussion where I will talk about different personalization topics with people like Paweł Chrzan, co-founder of Wellbe, which is psychotherapist marketplace, Agata Schultz, CEO of Travel List, which is also a kind of a marketplace for tourist solutions, mostly hotel bookings. Piotr Wawrysiuk, founder of Psi Buffet, which is fresh dog food. And Arek will be one of my panelists to give this analytics background to the whole story. So these are my beautiful panelists, and now we're going to go into our very short presentation. I will get started. So why personalization in e-commerce really matters? So obviously, I was trying to get you some data because everyone it's a hype. Like everyone says, personalization, personalization. Obviously, it's so important. But now, does it really matter? Does it provide some tangible results? So there's several from our job, we know that when we are personalizing experience, it just works better. But sometimes it's difficult to compare because personalization is not really something that you will do an IB test on. It's usually a core of a company strategy. Like either you personalize the experience more or you don't. But I was looking for some tangible researches that maybe provide context. So there's a research from McKinsey Group, 71% of consumers expect a personalized experience from a business. Interesting, sometimes we say that people don't like when we are kind of stalking them, but actually people start to like it. They want to see something that is adjusted to them once they're shopping online. 80% of customers are more likely to make purchase from a brand that provides personalized experience. That's a research from Epsilon. And finally, companies that create personalized experience double the lifetime value of their customers, a research from Adobe. So also interesting. Personalization is far more than just what you see on your site. I'm going to touch about it in a second. So increasing lifetime value is one of the topics that we're going to talk about as well today. Now, going further, what are the key personalization tactics in e-commerce? And you will actually be touched by all of them during today's show. Product recommendations is what we usually think about. Customers who bought this also bought that. So we actually get this on our product pages or during the shopping cart experience. Personalized website or mobile app content. So this is everything that is possible once you actually have a cookie of your customer, and you can provide items that are related to his past behavior or related to something that he already said before, because sometimes it doesn't even have to be based on cookie. It can be based on his intention or data that he provides to you, and we're going to show you some of it. Dynamic pricing, something that we all hate and love when it comes, for example, to flights purchases, but also, sometimes you don't even know that you're being touched by that. It's offering different prices to different segments, sometimes different, new customers versus old. Targeted email and SMS marketing, obviously based on your data, and personalized advertising content. It's also part of personalization. Entire remarketing advertising, it's really personalization. And what I'm gonna show you in a second, there's a data perspective over personalization, and you can't do it if you don't collect the data. Okay, so super important. Behavioral data, so what customers clicks, views, adds to cart. You need to have cookies in place mostly to be able to collect this data, and you need systems that allow you to collect this data and use it. So marketing automation, correctly implemented consent modes, purchase history, what customers has bought in the past. That's mostly CRM based, so you need to be storing the data somewhere to be able to use it. Declarative data like location, age, gender, but also challenges, problems. This is usually a very simple thing that a lot of companies can do. We're going to have people who have implemented it during the panel discussions, surveys, quizzes, different things to get data, and real-time data. What a customer is doing right now, and this is actually requiring a real-time marketing automation. So now, Arek, quickly from you. So quick case studies from the Polish market by Arek. I can be clicking for you, so you tell me
That
when.
would be great. Thank you. Yeah. So, well, the quite mm, like one of the most popular like personalization tactic is to personalize a website, and we work with many D2C companies, and the basic tactic is to create a quiz. So you can like give your preferences, talk about the requirements that you have for the product. So the page can be personalized, and you can receive like a special offer, usually with a discount. And we checked in the data if it works or not. So we looked at all the customers that started the quiz, and we look at the conversion rate that they had versus the people that didn't start the quiz, so the, let's say, general or regular users. And it turned out that the conversion rate is 1.8 times higher for people that started the quiz. So even if they are not like finishing the quiz, the conversion rate is higher for them. And when they finish the quiz and they like give their email address to receive a personalized recommendation and also like 20% discount, for example, the conversion rates is going crazy. It's like 4.4 times higher than for regular users. So it's worth it to have a quiz on the web page, and it really works.
It
Uh,
kind of says that people actually want this personalized experience, because even if they don't finish, they're still
yeah,
more
exactly.
willing to to
Exactly. Maybe they're like just more prone to buying the product, but anyways, it gives them a feeling that you are like taking care of them, let's say.
yeah.
And the other technique that our clients are using in terms of personalization is personalized advertising content, and it gets down to creating a segment uh, based on sales data. Usually, our clients use RFM segmentation. So RFM means recency, frequency, and monetary. And they are like creating groups of segments of users that of clients for targeting purposes in Meta or in marketing automation tools. And we took a look at the meta retargeting results. And for let's click yes, please. Okay, so for the RFM segment that we called about to be one night stand, so it means that there are users that made only one purchase and they are didn't make another one in 90 days. It turns out that when you create a retargeting campaign based on for this group with a special discount, for example, the conversion rate is going up. It's higher by like 30%. We also checked the other group. There, it's called Falling Enthusiasm. So these are like the people that were like loyal clients but didn't make a purchase in the last also like 90 days. So it turns out when you like do the retargeting based on this segment, the conversion rate for this group with a special offer, a special communication, the conversion rate goes up by 30%. So it's 1.4 times higher. So again, it means that the personalization efforts, they make sense.
Yeah, and we've got some data. That's cool. And now let's stay for the rest of the show and welcome Jakub from Sunrise. No, sorry, Magda. Oh my God. I made a mistake. So Magda, you roll. We're out for a moment with Arek.
Yeah. So welcome and thank you for joining today's session. I'll share my screen first. So my name is Magdalena Skowron, and I've been working in e-commerce marketing for over 10 years now and specializing in marketing automation for over 8. I have supported both Polish and European brands, always with a strong data-driven approach. And my focus is on turning insights into revenue and bringing real-life customer experience into the digital space. We all know that marketing has changed dramatically over past 10 years. Customers are no longer satisfied with being just a number in our databases, and they expect brands to know them, understand them, and communicate in the right way and in the right time also. If we don't follow it, our message will be just ignored or it will be lost in the noise. That's where marketing automation and smart personalization come in. When done right, automation isn't about sending more messages faster. It's about sending the right message to the right person at the right moment. And in this session, I will show you how personalization powered by automation can build stronger relationships with your customers and increase engagement and ultimately drive growth without losing the human touch. So let's dive in. So why personalization matters? Customers are exposed to thousands of messages daily. The estimates vary, but it's said that people are exposed to between 4,000 and 10,000 commercial messages per day. And in broader definitions, including branding and so on, that number may even approach 15,000 messages daily. Why would they want to pay more attention to your communication? 71% of consumers expect personalized experiences, yet 76% feel frustrated when trends don't deliver. Now imagine visiting your favorite coffee shop where barista welcomes you and asks you about your last trip because you told him last time about it. What I always want to do in marketing is to bring this real life experience into digital, and it's very possible to do. Automation without personalization is seen as spam. And you may say that you don't send that many emails. This is what most people consider spam, right? But try explaining someone who isn't a marketer what marketing automation is. when I try to do it and I give them some examples from their life that they might understand, like abandoned cart messages or app pushes, I always, and it's literally always, doesn't matter what person I'm talking to, here, oh, so you are sending all this spam. Don't you get answers like this when you try to explain it? And how do we avoid becoming noise and instead deliver real value to our customers? This is the question that I will try to answer to today. Like I said, marketing has evolved. First, we had mass communication, one message sent to everyone. And this is how I started my e-commerce career path. The whole team was sitting in one room discussing promotions for upcoming week. And then I was sending one email with all of the special offers to our whole database. How did it perform? For those times, it was really not bad. But that was over 10 years ago, and the times changed since then. There, the segmentation trend hit, and as a store that was selling cosmetics, we had a very simple yet super brilliant in our heads idea. We should create male and female audiences and send specific promos to specific groups. It also didn't perform bad, and it gave us some growth, but then the real opportunity came, and it was personalization. I'm guessing that the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about personalization is using your leads' names. And of course, it was our another brilliant idea to use them in the subjects. That was also like a golden hit for us again, because it raised our open rates by around 5% points. However, this is only a very basic and very simple example of how we can and should personalize our messages. Nowadays, it's also pretty boring for customers and really isn't anything special that will make your email stand out from your customer inbox. And here's where smart personalization starts. The goal is to bring one-to-one experiences at scale, like in your favorite coffee shop, from my example. Okay, so what is smart personalization? We need human-centered approach first that is driven by data to be successful and give customers the best experience. And I mean almost the real life experience. This goes way beyond demographics and includes behavior, intent, and context. It has to be dynamic and adaptive, not static. And let's switch now to another example, a pet store. A small one that is just next to your neighborhood where you always go to buy food for your dog. Also where the owner knows that your dog's name is Astar and he was born a year ago. This time when you are visiting the store and you're looking at the usual dog food that you were buying, the owner suggests you that, that you should switch to the kibbles for an adult dog because he remembers that your dog is turning into adulthood now. Since he also surely gained some strength, the owner presents to you new colors with a safe clip and toys that will be suitable for stronger jaws now. Now, as a marketer, think about how well this approach builds loyalty and how will it affect the client's final decision. And this is what I always want to serve to e-commerce clients, and this is all possible. Marketing automation and smart personalization builds trust and loyalty first, and the conversions are just a side effect. Like I mentioned, our approach should be data-driven, but how and where should we collect data and what data? Starting from the last question, the more data, the better. You never know when you might want to use and when you might want to use it, and collecting reliable and quality data will definitely take some time. However, like always, quality beats quantity. Make sure that your database is properly structured to store all the information. The forms that the customers will be filling are clear for them and also user-friendly, and that the tracking code send proper data. Where to collect the data? Like again, everywhere. For example, on the website, from forms, tracking codes, all the events like page views, purchases, add to carts, and so on. You can also collect them in the app if you have an app, all the events like screen views and all the other ones, from emails, SMSs, web pushes, WhatsApp messages, opens, clicks, from all the on-site elements, views of them like pop-ups, top bars, sidebars, from social media, all the interactions available, and also offline, like for example, from loyalty apps or web beacons. Now, what to do with collected data? My favorite thing, analyze it or leave it to AI. Now, most of the marketing automation tools offer their AI agents that you can use for different tasks. And even if I always apply my dad's rule to AI, who says love and trust, but always check, with this particular case, when AI only has to use algorithms, it is very unlikely to make mistakes. Then, after analyzing data, there's just the last step left, applying and running everything. Important thing is that all the actions should be happening in real time. Timing is really crucial here, so it's very worth considering this aspect when choosing the right marketing automation tool for your business. Also, remember that marketing automation isn't only about emails. This is the most common thinking, but it goes way beyond that. We can divide the channels between on-site and off-site communication. In the first group, there are all the pop-ups, sidebars, top bars, product recommendations, and all the other website elements. And when it comes to off-site marketing, we have obvious messages like email, WhatsApp, SMS, but also web pushes and partially social media or Google Ads, since we can communicate most of the marketing automation tools with them to build audiences and use them in our communication. Now let's dive into some real life examples of the impact personalization can have. It's one thing to talk about personalization in theory, but it really comes to life when you see the numbers and stories behind it. These aren't abstract concepts, they are real results achieved by some of the world's biggest and most recognizable brands. We will look at how companies used automation and smart personalization to improve customer onboarding, boost engagement, and even double the effectiveness of their campaigns. Each example will show you how small changes based on customer data and behavior can lead to significant business growth. And make sure to pay attention to the last case. It comes from a brand and a campaign you all know very well, but you might not even think of it as of personalization per se. Still, they did it in a very powerful, creative, and effective way. Our first example is Amazon. It is probably the best known example of smart personalization at scale. Their product recommendation engine, and I mean those customers who bought this product also bought, or you might also like sections, drives around 35% of Amazon's total revenue. What's powerful here is that recommendations are not just based on demographics, but on real behavior, browsing history, purchase history, and also what similar customers do. It's personalization that feels relevant and it makes shopping easier, not overwhelming. And this is something that is seen by a customer as a very helpful thing while shopping on Amazon. Another example that targets churn reduction this time is Duolingo. When Duolingo introduced a personalized onboarding journey for new users, including welcome emails, push reminders tailored to learning goals, and progress-based encouragement, they saw a 20% reduction in early churn, which is like a huge number. We all know that. Instead of losing users in the first week, more learners stayed active, completed their first lessons, and formed a usage habit. It's a great example of why you should focus on your existing leads before getting new ones. Another great example comes from Starbucks and their loyalty program. Their mobile app doesn't just collect loyalty points, it uses purchase history, location data, and preferences to send offers that feel almost one-to-one. For example, if you usually order a latte in the morning, you might get a discount push notification just before your typical coffee time in the exact store you visit. This strategy brings Starbucks over 1 billion in incremental annual revenue. It shows how personalization can go beyond emails and become part of the daily customer experience. A brand that kind of mimics that behavior in Poland is Lidl. They have these personalized coupons based on your previous shopping preferences that you can find in your app. And our last surprising example is Coca-Cola. Why is it surprising? Because it's an example of a great offline personalization. However, it was supported, of course, also by digital channels. By replacing its logo on bottles with popular first names or words like buddy, friends, and so, Coca-Cola created a highly personalized experience. Customers started actively searching for bottles with their own names and those of their friends or family members. The campaign generated a 2-digit uplift in engagement worldwide, and in some markets, doubled social media interactions compared to standard campaigns. It's a great example of connecting offline and online worlds with personalization. So, how to personalize in a smart way? First thing is to understand your customers. Your knowledge should be based on reliable data, and do not hesitate to collect it in any way that comes to your mind. You can't have any better source than your customers themselves. Therefore, I highly encourage you to use surveys. Of course, you cannot overwhelm your customers with them, but just find the right balance. One more source that is not used very often, but definitely should be, is asking people that work in your company and have direct contact with the customers. And from my experience, I used to work for a company that produces and sells bicycles. And my most valuable source of information were my colleagues from customer care and also the employees of stationery trade. And actually, the whole cross and upselling processes in our marketing automation system were built on their recommendations. The second step of smart personalization is designing relevant customer journeys. What you would probably do is reading some recommendations about abandoned cart flows that will say, send first email after an hour, second email after 12 hours, and something like this. You should never follow such rules blindly. The decision process of or processing information would vary a lot depending on your business and your customers. From my experience, it's completely different when it comes to buying pet food. That is a product used daily and has its spot in your client's monthly budget, versus a bicycle that costs at least a few thousand and you buy it once per few years. While thinking of personalization, you should consider all of it, including also the channel's timing and the communicate itself. Then the third step is flexible automation. What do I mean with that is that you should consider as many possible scenarios as you can think of. You can't treat every lead the same way. Let's have a look at the welcome flow. Why would you send the same communicates to a person who subscribed to your marketing communication while placing an order on your website, and the same one to someone who didn't really have a chance to get to know your brand better because they only subscribed via meta lead ads encouraged by your ad creation? They definitely need a different approach, and you have to take it into consideration if you want to have better results. Or just let AI think instead of you. Just remember, trust, but always check, or rather test in this case. And with that, we smoothly reach our last step, which is analysis. I am honestly always surprised how little marketers care about that, which is an unforgivable mistake in my opinion. Without that, you can't change, and without change, you're not growing. Always analyze your actions and always make conclusions because there's always a room for improvement. When we look ahead, personalization is only going to get smarter and faster. Thanks to AI, we're moving from reactive to predictive personalization. That means systems will anticipate customer needs before they even express them. Actually, some of marketing automation tools are already doing it, and they do it great. Another trend is real-time cross-channel orchestration, making sure that whether you interact with a brand through email, SMS, app, website, or even in-store, the experience feels seamless and consistent. And Starbucks is doing it very right, if you want an example. We will also see loyalty ecosystems becoming hyper-personalized, adapting rewards, messages, and offers for each person individually. And I am really looking forward to it. But here's the challenge. As we personalize more, customers also care more about privacy and control. The brands that succeed will be the ones that balance relevance with respect for customer data. I was mentioning this balance quite a few times in my presentation. If we don't apply it in our communication, our messages will be seen as spam, not only by mailboxes, but most importantly by our customers. And being ignored by them is worse than landing in a spam folder. The future seems to be really exciting, but also very demanding. It's about being smarter and more responsible at the same time, and also smarter and more responsible than our competitors. To wrap things up, I want to leave you with 3 points. First, personalization should build trust and loyalty. It is what makes customers feel understood. Second, automation only works when it feels human. Without relevance and empathy, it's just noise, and it will be lost in noise. And third, focus on outcomes, not outputs. Don't celebrate the numbers of campaigns you send, celebrate the revenue, retention, and satisfaction you achieve. At the end of the day, smart personalization is not about tools or channels, it's about relationships. And strong relationships are what drive long-term growth. Thank you for your time and attention today. I hope this session gave you both inspiration and some practical ideas on how to make your marketing automation more human. Have a great day and enjoy the rest of our meetup.
Thank you, Magda. And let's have Kuba. Hi, Kuba. Okay. Let's get Magda out. Thank you and bye-bye. Enjoy.
Driven approach for personalized promotions. I divided my presentation into 4 parts. So I wanted to show you what is behavioral AI, what is personalization and what are their benefits, how to create personalized experience, and I wanted also to show you some real life use cases. So starting from the very beginning, what is behavioral AI? The goal of the behavioral AI is to predict and to respond to user behaviors. So to do this, we need to have a lot of input data. And input data will allow us to generate good predictions. We are collecting those data from all possible places where we have that we can arrange, from shopping paths, from clicks, from every entry, every interaction that our customers have with our store or with our organization. And how it works, the model is analyzing all those data and is preparing patterns to making more purchases or to making better communication with the customer. What is personalization? It starts from customer data platform where we collect all the data, then we create a behavioral profile, and we can personalize delivery information for this customer. Our approach is to be a completely customer centric. So we collect data from all possible sources, from websites, from offline information, like for example, from post transactions, from data storage that you already have about the customers, from third-party data, from mobile applications, from e-commerce, from Google Ads, or from landing pages. Everything we are creating like 360-degree information about the customer. The benefits that comes from this is to create customer engagement, to have a better conversation and to upsell more products, to build loyalty and prevent churn, which is the most important part in e-commerce right now, and to increase the chance that the customer will buy again. The customers declare that 83% is interested in personal promotions. So we don't want to receive emails that are designed for everyone. We want to receive communication, not only emails, but other ways of communication that are suited for us. And 23% of in Europe shoppers is declaring that they made a decision about the purchase even if they were not planning it. And our data proves it. About 30% customers is spending more, and 35% is declaring to have more frequent shopping. How we create personalized experience. So creating this personal profile, we take under consideration events, transactions, clients' data, and based on those information, we are preparing dedicated campaigns. Creating personalized experience starts with AI recommendations, AI search, and we can create dedicated landing pages. We can create dedicated messages with all possible channels. We try to engage customers with loyalty projects, and we also are retargeting them to our social media where they can learn more, or they can have information about our new products or new services. Where recommendations are most helpful, on the main page, on the product page, on the basket page when customer is leaving, or if there is something they could not find, so they get a 404 error on their website that something that they are looking for is not available anymore. AI search is very helpful here because it's very fast. It allows you to avoid common mistakes with spelling. It can use synonyms, and it can work with several languages all the time. Personal landing pages, this is something that is really working well, because in real time we can create a dedicated landing page to the customer based on his or her previous behavior. Personalized communication is a key here, because based on how our customers are interacting with us, we can interact in exactly the same channel to keep the communication fluent and clear. So just to make it sum this up, AI helps in a large scale, so it's not only one customer by one, but you can have a segment of hundreds or even thousands of customers where you can in a real time provide communication about your products. It creates a multi-channel experience, and you can use different tools and moments to fit the customer journey, which increase the possibility for them to buy. I wanted to briefly go through the real life use cases. So the personalized communication is available on every web. So we can use dynamic content, we can use web push, we can communicate over emails or mobile messages or WhatsApp or whatever channel customers, where the customer is. And we can do this in real time. So the basic one that we can show is like birthday promotion to push notifications. Usually we would have to have an information about the customer. He would have to give us information about his birthday. But if we are working with, for example, social media, and we gather data about this customer, we can send him a dedicated promotion on his birthday, so that he will get this early in the morning or early in the evening, whenever he's scrolling social media. We can also give information about the price drop. So if we knew that the customer was visiting our website and he was looking at some products and didn't make a decision to buy it, if the price change in some dedicated period of time, we can come back to this customer and give and push him information that, sir or madam, you were viewing this product and now it's 50% cheaper, like this armchair presented here. We can also use TrustMate survey links, because a lot of customers is viewing products based on recommendations from other customers. So we don't only encourage them to look at those surveys, but we also can gather data if they fill them in. And this gives us additional opportunity to track their behavior, and if they right information about products that we have, we can recommend them more clearly. Anniversary transactions. This is something that is also quite popular because when we see that customers are making purchases in some dedicated periods of time, we can bonus them additionally or give them additional promotion in the moment when they are ready to make additional purchases. Email with the last few products. This is something that works very strongly. So if our customers is looking at some products, we can remind them about them. We can give additional information about those products, or we can inform them that the price has changed, or give some, if we want to, I don't know, sell more of specific type of the product, we can give additional promotion here. What is the most important fact with behavioral AI, that we can send those campaigns in best moment for our customers. So they are not spread at 10, at 12, at 3 p.m. We can send them exactly when we knew that the customer was making purchases in the past, or was scrolling our website or our e-commerce store, so he will get information about the promotion at the time that is best for him. So personalized offering, in average, they are shortening the path to conversion. They enhance the experience of our customers. They allow us to gather more and more information, and information is crucial in regards of providing some additional personalized offering. And they prevent churn, which, as I mentioned, at e-commerce is right now critical. I wanted to show you some product recommendation types. So we can recommend similar products. We can recommend products that are cross-sold. So if I'm buying, for example, running shoes, I will get information about socks or lenses or a cap, whatever is needed for running. The products that are visually similar, it often happens that one type of the product is not longer available, so we can recommend something that is similar, which has the same attributes or parameters. We can also compare those products, so the customer can choose the product that is most suitable for him, not only in regards of pricing, but in regards of attributes of the products. Let's go further. We don't always need to use AI for that. This is something that with marketing automation is not always needed. We can just push information about last seen products. We can give information about our top sales or the products that were viewed recently. Then we can just predefine a template with recommendation, and this template can be automatically generated and sent to the customer, again, in real time or in the time where he is ready to make the purchase. This is also recommendation compliant with Abuse Directive, where we can configure to generate personalized product suggestions, exactly with pricing, with attributes, with something that fits customers' requirements. And recommending complementary products to the products that customers recently bought. So again, we can push these messages, we can generate emails, and we can attract attention of our customers to the product that we want to recommend to him, but those products have probably been already seen by him, or he might need him in the short future. And last thing that we can do when we have long-lasting relationship with our customers, we can personalize promotions directly to this customer, and he will receive this promotion and no one else will be able to use it. So this is something that is 100% tailored for the dedicated customer in real time. and in the moment where he's ready to make the purchase. I run this presentation quite quickly. I hope I fit the time. And I wanted to apologize again for the technical errors. I don't know what was causing it, and hopefully, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
And thank you, Jakub. It was a quick presentation. I think pretty good perspective on what can happen on the website, especially, and in the email marketing using AI. Probably maybe not available for all the companies out there, but if you invest in a more advanced solutions, one of them is Sunrise, but there's also others in the market. So I'm always saying, like, if you're aiming high with a personalization, the base is to start gathering data and to actually start implementing tools that will make it possible for your company. So it all starts with building the right infrastructure for your e-commerce. And without this, it's very difficult to actually think about all these advanced things that you can do. And providing this experience that we start seeing data is actually making customers buy more, sometimes even making customers to buy for the first time because they see that your company is really trying hard to provide this perspective. So it's not just about repurchase, but it's also about the customer coming again to the site. And it might be the third, second. Some people say it's above 8 different touch points that the customer needs to experience to buy from you. The more of these touch points you can do on your site, the more of these touch points you can do through advertising, and the more personalized these touch points are becoming with every next interaction with your customer, you are just increasing the chance to convert them. So I think from this perspective, it's very important to see the whole journey, even if you're just starting out in e-commerce. See the whole journey, how you want to actually make it. So we're gonna have our guests in a second. So let's start letting them in, maybe slowly but surely. Michał, we've got Piotrek on. Okay, hi Piotrek. We've got Agata. I'm just checking who else. Okay, welcome Agata. Let's have Paweł, hopefully, and Arek. We still have 1 minute. So, okay, we've got Arek.
Hi,
And
again.
our last guest, Paweł, hopefully also joining in. Okay. Let's have Paweł. Okay, I can see Paweł, but I don't know if it's just me or... Yeah, okay, he's not here. Okay, we've got Paweł. Great, perfect timing. Welcome, guys.
Hi.
Okay, so we've got the whole team. Perfect, 11 a.m. CET. So let's get started this panel discussion. Let's start with a quick introduction. So guys, make sure that you don't have any background noises. And if you can put your headphones on, that could also be helpful. Let's see. Okay, let me introduce our guests. So first, I'm going to introduce you one by one how I see you on my screen, and I hope hopefully the viewers are also seeing you. So first we've got Paweł Chrzan, founder of Wellbe, which is a platform that provides psychotherapeutic solutions to people through technology. So access to a huge base of different therapists, great business. Got actually, Paweł already exited the business, so that's also a pretty good success. And there is an element of personalization. If you go to Wellbe, you can see it. I hope we're gonna talk about it a bit. Then we've got Agata Schulz, CEO of Travelist, which is a marketplace with tourism provides access to different hotels, focused mostly on Polish market, but a part of a big international group. It provides luxury touristic solutions. That's, I think, also important. And what's really cool is that in order to get access to all the offers, people have to leave their personal data. So this company can really personalize an experience. That's why I was thinking to invite Agata, because whatever you see on Travelist is adjusted to your browsing history, but also through to different things that you have been interacting with through your email and other communication channels. So I think this ideal personalization landscape, not maybe everyone can have, but this one is it. And then we've got Piotr Wawrysiuk, founder of Psi Buffet, a part of the also bigger international company providing fresh dog food to people and dogs. I mean, people, maybe not really people, dogs, but also their owners around Europe. That's a great story of growth in our Polish market, and then joining a bigger network, international network. And it's also a personalized experience. If you go to Psi Buffet, you will see that what they're providing is highly personalized to your dogs and owners' preferences. So another great story. It's also a purely subscription business, which makes it quite unique, at least in the Polish market, where subscription is cool, but people are a little bit more skeptical towards the solution still, comparing to other European countries. And finally, we've got Arek Wiśniewski, which is the founder of Sublime Analytics platform for e-commerce, co-organizer of our Commerce Growth meetups, providing perspective on data and everything behind personalization. Welcome, guys. Hope it's going to be a good discussion and we're going to learn from each other. So, first question to you guys. So, right now, for you, what does personalization really mean in the context of e-commerce? Is it just about email? Is it just about content on site? And there's so many different things: personalization, segmentation, customization. Like, give me your best shot on how would you explain personalization to a business owner in the e-commerce space?
Ladies first, Agata, you go.
Yeah, easy, wanting to start. So, like, to us, as you said, we're a closed service, so we are living in this bubble of huge amount of data, and it's a benefit, but also a great challenge. So for us, personalization is ability to use the data that we have about our customers to assist them across their whole customer journey and be helpful to them, and just offer things that they require for them to make this journey more pleasant and eventually to have the conversion. But we believe that if we focus on being and serving what customers needs, this is like a natural way to get conversion quicker, in opposite to like just focusing on having more sales. So I would say it's about gathering data and being able to use them in an effective way to support our customers, to assist them during this customer journey from the first touch point to the final, so the transaction closure.
I like it.
So I can go next. I would say I would take a step back. In a way, personalization is providing from the suite of your products, providing the one that is most valuable to the given user, right? And it's also the way you do it. So finding from all of the things that you can offer, what is the perfect solution for the customer. Ideally, in our case, it's also very long-term, so it's much easier, right? Because we have a long-term data about whether it's actually successful or not, and it can evolve. And then to touch on that previous topic, so conversion, it's also communicating to the right person, well, predicting obviously based on data, and we're going to be wrong a lot of the times, but sort of moving towards the direction that we can already tell this user something that they have a good chance of being truly delighted with, as opposed to a generic solution that sort of fits everyone.
Cool. Piotr, can you add something?
Hopefully. Well, first of all, I agree with both Agata and Pavel. I think it's all about tailoring the offering, tailoring the communication, and potentially doing it at the right moment to improve the customer experience. And just to give you an example, like in our case, it's also like as with Wellbe, so with travelers, is building like a long-term relationship with the customer. So we're trying to provide those like personalized moments along the way, not only to transact with, in our case, okay, that's subscription. So we really, let's say, measure initial conversion on how many people from who are going to enter the website will transact and become a customer. But the customer customization kicks in like from early beginning. So from creating your meal plan in our case, then to so basically the food is adjusted to the dog's needs, but also like those moments that happen after. So I'll give you an example. We're trying to collect a photo of a dog into our app, which then enable us to provide something extra, and we're sending a postcard with technically your dog just thanking for the first purchase. So it's technically after conversion, but giving you this personalized moment along the way, which basically helps us to build retention over time. And moments like this, and with basically customer journey along the way in the business, gives you like, yeah, those opportunities to act in the right moment. So, when is your customer slash, in our case, your dog birthday, we can surprise the customer with some sort of surprise and delight. We know, yeah, even like worst cases. So if the dog is passing away, we also trying to reach out to the customer and help in the given moment. So like the data are about to, I guess, be turned into some meaningful experiences for the customers.
I like it. So you guys actually covered the whole journey. And Arek, do you have something to add from the perspective of the analytics guy? Maybe for you, personalization is just data and conversion.
No, like this is like the base of our business, because we support like improving the retention, and retention based on personalization. So in our analytics, we concentrate on segments, micro segments, and showing how the changes, how the tactics, if they are working or not. But in the recent years, I also like saw from analytics perspective, I also saw like a set of new tools like being born. Usually when you like take the data and put them in the data warehouse, it's called ETL. And there are like not now there are like new tools that are called reverse ETL. So getting like the data out of the data warehouse to all the tools that can provide like personalization, like marketing tools, communication, stuff like that. And from this perspective, I see that the industry, like the analytics industry, is trying to close the loop and catch up with the business requirements.
Agata, you raised your hand.
Yeah, because like we started talking about personalization, but like as we're asked to disobey and be challenging during this discussion, so I have one perspective that I wanted to share, because when there was a presented this path coming from mass content, mass communication, through segmentation to personalization, and like this whole discussion is around, to me, around personalization being something best out of everything. And what I wanted to challenge is that, to me, I do obey that this is a path from basic to more complex and advanced. But from business perspective, I think the success comes from the hybrid and good management among all of these. Because for our business, mass communication and segmentation is equally important depending on what our assumption and goal is. So giving you an example, recently we opened a new product line within Travelers. So you said that we're focusing on domestic supply. We also have international, but it's a minor segment. But lately, we open up a product of flights that are dynamically packaged with international offer. So as we know that our users read us as only domestic, provider, we needed to create this awareness. So mass communication is really the only way to reach this goal, because if we're just focusing on delivering things that people expect to see, we wouldn't have any access to promote this new product. So this is one thing. For segmentation, like our product is getting overrated quite quickly. So when we have rooms available for a certain date and we're getting close to this date, if we don't sell it out, we just lose this money. So sometimes we have this push from not from the customer, but from the business, from the supply and inventory that we have, to find a proper users, proper customers that could be able to be ready to buy our products. And in this way, segmentation is the perfect tool to do so. So again, if we're just doing personalization, we're just pushing away the most needed and most attractive things that sell out anyways organically. But in order to sell something that we want to sell as a business, we need to look for the right segments. So people who maybe are not interested in this project as the first need, but they somehow could be interested if they...
Sorry, can we mute our mics for a second, all of us, because it's becoming more louder and louder.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
That fix it. I think it sort of it became reverbing,
If you have streaming in the background, I think it's disturbing also. So I needed to shut down the screen. But
it might be this.
was everything that I said, loud enough to be understood, or yeah?
Yeah, it was perfect. And I think that is connected actually with my second question. And I like the fact that, Agata, you actually challenged us, because marketing, like the core of marketing was never about personalization. The core of marketing was always about, this going to someone with a pen and trying to convince them that they actually want it, even though they have like gazillions of pens at home, right? So there has to be a balance between it. And I don't think it's so obvious that it's only the personalization that is the future. And it was the base of my second question, because we're getting this data, like customers want personal experience, but if they always going to be getting just personalized experience, it's like, our feed on social media that is kind of, closing us in a bubble. And if we stay in that bubble, then we're never going to get exposed to new things. So we have to sometimes break through the bubble to offer a product that the customer maybe haven't been searching for, but might still be interested in. And I want to get your perspective about it. Like, did you have, like Agata, you already shared, I like the perspective of a business, that as a business, you actually have to push through the bubble sometimes to show the services that you need to sell. But then did you have maybe Pavel or Piotr, some other experience in your business where you realized that, for example, you're personalizing too much, and you have to offer a little bit bigger range of services, for example? Pavel, I know you had actually, because you shared it on my podcast, so I hope you will share it again in this context.
So a few things. Another tiny step back, which we're forgetting about. It's your core product is what matters the most, and the product market fit. Sometimes you don't need personalization. AG1, for example, has one SKU, and they're doing some $1 billion worth of sales.
600
Porsche,
million, close. 600 million, but
600
close.
million. Porsche just had 911 for a very long time. When you have a iconic product, there's actually value in the fact that that's the product that you want to have, and when it has a product market fit. So yeah, we need to start there, and then the personalization is many things. Some products are inherently personal, like therapy, and the personalization matters a lot. So that report between the therapist and the patient is actually in all of the literature, the most healing of the factors. Every regression you do, you'll find that the quality of relationship between the patient and the therapist will define to the greatest extent the successful outcome of therapy. But yeah, some things don't actually require it. So the personalization is more in terms of what you were describing, Eva, with the pen. So it's sort of finding that whether that person actually needs a pen, and sort of like Piotrek said, whether they need it right now. Timing is also very relevant. We're a different person in the morning, different person in the evening, different person when we're hungry. So like timing also matters a lot. Yeah. And in regards of going too far with personalization, we tried to be a little on the, I'd say, bleeding edge of personalization. Sort of go past some like very small initial studies and look at some very deep features of therapist and patient, and so whether there's a match. And most of that turned out not to be relevant. So you actually have to be very scientifically rigorous, run your experiment and see whether that actually makes a difference. For us, it didn't. So the random assignment was better than some of the features we've added. And lastly, on the discovery that you have also mentioned, so going out of a bubble. I don't fear that. I feel like most of the marketing is still not targeted, etc. So the people will be exposed to that more informative rather than persuasive type of marketing.
Thank you, Pavel. And Arek, I think you wanted to mention something, right? Muted, you're muted.
Just wanted to build on top of what Pavel said about like personalization not having the effect or the, let's say, significant effect on conversions. We saw it a lot. I mean, like 70% of the times, the for example, like the marketing automation strategy and stuff like that, it doesn't work, or it doesn't like, or it's not showing the results that were like that are like statistically significant. So you can like have like your company being like having like the personalization strategy, but it can turn out that it's like not worth the effort to do it. And like, and at least from marketing automation side, the things that are working, and we see it across our clients, are like the basic, for example, like recency frequency monetary segmentation. And it's like scientifically proven and it works and it doesn't require a lot of effort, stuff like that. It's like more on the segmentation side, but I would say like not everyone is like doing a one-to-one personalization. So we have to be very, very careful. You have to collect the data, and you have to like have like somebody that has the analytical mind and to check if it works or not.
I'm just going to throw away a small comment building on that. Internally from Facebook, to use likes data to deliver better, more personalized ads failed twice, and it took some many years in order to be actually able to use this data in any meaningful way. It took years, and they had all of the data, it seemed, and it actually didn't affect the value of ads at all. At 2 attempts, they even gave up, and then someone came and was like, okay, let's try it again, and it worked, and started working better and better. But even with the resources, with the compute, with the talent, didn't work out for a very long time.
Yeah, I would just add that the longer you have the customer in the business, the more personalized, the more data you have, and the more personalized experience you can provide. And when we are talking about bringing the new customers in, it, yeah, 100%, especially with like broader campaigns and building the awareness of the business, the more generic, most likely the less expensive it is to actually reach the wider audience. So yeah, at this point, like, creating a view that the personalized experience on sort of that type of ads is a little bit, oh yeah, let's call it silly maybe. By the end of the day, if you build like very custom small segments and let's say push it and try to reach those customers through Meta, like your cost to reach out this group will be super high. And even if you're gonna improve your CVRs on the landing page whatsoever, By the end of the day, the cost per acquiring this customer skyrockets, and it might turn out to be like a waste of money and narrow scale, simply quite expensive. So yeah, shooting the flies with an arrow? No. Yeah, you got it.
That's
We
one
are
thing. But the second is like the scale, right? Like you might not be able to achieve a scale on a too personalized advertising, and if your brand is still not AG1 that everyone knows, then you have to be somehow expanding, right? And you can only do it through mass and more generic messaging. Agata?
Yes, I wanted add to that because I like that we started talking about efficiency of that because it's good to state that personalization is expensive and it's expensive in terms of finance, but also time and effort invested in that. So it's only worth when the uplift in the conversion is higher enough to the effort that we put to that. What I wanted to add to this discussion is that it also heavily relies on how good your product is in this very narrow segment. So again, coming to my industry, travel, if we have people who are interested heavily in Thailand, but I have only one offer, it's better off for me to present them the best, portfolio of just best deals from anywhere in the world than to push a poor deal from Thailand because just for them to see it and having it not good enough won't make them, close this transaction and buy. So it's very tricky depending on how narrow we can go with this very detailed product.
I think there's also this other perspective of the data collection, right? Because in your businesses, I think in all your businesses, Pavel, Agata, Piotr, you guys are collecting quite a lot of data from the customers who are entering your customer journey. Once they actually reach your site, you're asking a lot of questions. So even going into that, like, is this problematic? Do you see that sometimes it might be lowering the conversion of people because they might be not open to share so much of information about them, and they would prefer to have some easier kind of way of exploring your product? Where's the, how to judge that?
So we definitely had that issue, but even by design initially, because you couldn't, the first month iteration of Wellbe, you couldn't choose your therapist. You had to go through therapy guide who would guide you through it. So it's extra effort. There's big value in it, but there's extra effort in it as well.
That's
And
hyper personalization, right? I
that
would
was a hyper, and we still have that route. It's very successful. It actually leads to a 40% higher LTV, right? So the success
if we
rate
go through that, right?
for people who go through that step. So yeah, this is absolutely very, very valuable for us. But yeah, I totally agree with it. And every product I design, I try to find a quick way through as well. And we have it. In our personalization path, that we also have a, hey, just show me therapists. I want to choose myself. Like, you want to give people a quick path to conversion as well. Very many people are actually interested in it. So you need to, in a way, also personalize for the fact that people want a generic solution and they want to, see the listing fast, right? Then the magic obviously happens on the listing and what you order and how. But yeah, I absolutely agree with it. Every product I design always has that quick conversion path.
Because it's a bit about preferences, right? It's also a part of personalization. Do people want to be led, or do people want to choose on their own, right? Like Piotrek, I wonder how you guys approach it, because your journey is also a quite, I would say, hyper personalized journey, right? Through Shibufat.
Yeah, it is. And actually, in the contrary to what Pavel said, until you're gonna get to the listing, like a product listing, see your price, like you actually have to provide quite a significant amount of data. I think in our case it's a little bit easier because you're mostly sharing data of your dog, which is I wouldn't say maybe not relevant. It is relevant by far, but like it's not as scary as sharing information about all you as a person and your potential struggles, like mental struggles, which is very private and probably something much harder to share than the breed of your dog and how much does it weigh and if it eats treats or doesn't. In our case, actually, the longer conversion funnel sort of engages the customer, and that might be tricky, but like the more questions you already gave, the more time you spend, and the more like you actually want to finalize it.
It's the
So
dopamine loop. It's the effort loop, actually.
exactly.
Of course.
So
The more
so
effort
if you
you put in, the more willing you are then to make an effort of paying.
Exactly. So we are obviously testing how the funnel should be working, but at this point in time, like we ended up with like quite a long one that is quite efficient. Nonetheless, like on every stage, we're trying to sort of adapt it and maybe I don't know if personalize it, but I give you an example. We know that lifetime value of the puppy customers are much higher than, let's say, people with regular elderly dog. That's why we're trying to incentivize those clients additionally. And if we know at the very early stage of our, uh, let's say, customer journey, we call it the wizards, that we are acting and working with a puppy parents, then we're incentivizing with additional discounts. Maybe in the first place, this is going to be more costly for us to acquire this customer, but it should pay off in the long term. So this type of adjustments all along the way, just before the first transactions, could also give a vibe of like personalizing or like customizing the offer to the customer. And sorry,
And
maybe one more thing, because like we recently spoke about the effort getting into potential personalization. I think there's a lot that could be done with automation. So, this is the way, not always you have to put an effort and skills to like custom build the segments for every sort of campaign you're running. In some cases, like building the customer journey, if you're able to sort of like do it from scratch and automate, so later when you gather the data, like it simply goes through and doesn't require that much effort from the team, because time is a precious resource. So
so
important
would
to.
you say it's about the right tool or just about right implementation at the start, or both?
Uh, Probably both. It all depends, like, where the personalization is kicking in. But if it's about, let's say, your CRM flow, like email journey, or whatever tools you're using, if you're able to set it up well from scratch, then you can personalize it well, and don't it doesn't require like further work of the team in order to amend it, with another cohort joining the business or so.
Yeah, that was I think, Pavel, do you want to, Arek and Pavel, I think both of you guys, you wanted to add something on top, right?
Yeah, sure. I just because Pavel said that they had the problem with too much with a quiz. Let's call it a quiz at the beginning, because I work with D2Cs mainly, so they have quizzes to personalize the offer. And what you said is like I can confirm that in data, because I checked it like 2 minutes ago. I'm well prepared with the data. And it turns out that only like 5% of the users are like taking the quiz for our clients. But so it's only 5%. So 95% prefers to like go to the listing. Maybe they know what they want, stuff like that. But it turns out also like this 5% that is starting the quiz is like responsible for 10% of the revenue. So they're like leaving like more money, and they're like buying more. So it's not it's a significant amount, but still like 90% of the revenue comes from the user that are not like interested in a quiz, let's say, on or not at this stage. So I think it's the thing that Agata said, that you cannot like only rely on personalization, because you have like mass market people that don't want to share the data, or just are in a hurry, or know what they want. So you have to like have both.
Yeah, I'm actually a little surprised that it's even that much. It's not that much for us. We don't have a number at hand, but more than half of the percent of the users is going through the personalization flow for us. But well, not therapy guide. That's actually probably less than 10% or around 10%. So that's like, let's say, hyper personalization in our case. But yeah, I wanted to challenge actually a little bit what Piotrek said. I agree. Oh yeah, sorry. I While I agree that you need to set up like your basic analytics right, and there are some tools that just kind of give you basic personalization for free, you know, like the Shopify add-ons, they frequently bought together wherever. In a startup, I just don't think that's something you should be thinking about. You really should be thinking about it early on. You should be thinking about product, just product. Talk to those customers, focus on the product, just like get the market fit, make it better and better. You're probably spending so little on marketing, it really does not matter. Just don't waste energy, time, attention on that issue very early on. I mean, have the analytics to drive then long-term conclusions once you have time for that, but yeah, product.
Sorry, Agata, I will jump in just to answer the challenge from my dear colleague from Welby. No, I fully agree. You know, I'm sort of talking from the current perspective I'm sitting in. And also, like, the Przybuffer was, and it still is, a business in which we sort of like already had a product that we knew that gonna land well on the market in terms of physical product. And to be fair, the digital product was sort of mirroring what our competition was doing on other markets. So like, let's say we got into this more or less like product market fit fairly early, and due to like everything around me, like it was more on the marketing. So, and also from this point of view, I'm also like talking about, let's say, a scale up, because currently Butternut is like a wider business. So depending, obviously, to whom this knowledge is needed and at what stage of the business is. But like, I fully agree, at the early stage, like, care for your product, not as much on the marketing. In my case, like, marketing was important because, let's say, we checked in the product market fit. So it was about client acquisition and retaining the customers also in the second stage, to be fair. So yeah.
Yeah, I would just add that the early on marketing is important because you need clients to talk to. Essentially, you need real product feedback. You know, you don't think about it as business. You think about it as learning more because it's so insignificant that it doesn't matter. You know, whether you sell 50 or 100. Just like talk to those people and test hypotheses that on product mainly at that stage.
Agata?
So maybe switch. I don't know, like Arek, did you had your head also raised or not? Because I wanted to switch subject a little bit and just share my experience. Okay. So the question was about implementation and a product, and I thought that I have this experience that maybe could be useful for somebody to be shared here. As initially, when we started playing with personalization in our email communication, we actually used the external source, external product, to do predictive analysis of the users and product suggestions. And as much as it was okay and fine for the predictive analysis, but like on the product line, it's, let's say, failed because it wasn't adjusted for our very specific type of product, which includes availability rooms and it's highly dependent on time. So just to give an example, if we have a 13th of February, we have a peak of all sales for all the hotels, for all the check-ins for the next day because of the Valentine's. So when you look at the best product, all like hotels that have the availability free rooms for this specific date are like the top-notch ones. But the day after, when we want to present the best deal, these are already outdated, so they don't work. So the models were not fitted for our type of supply, for our type of inventory, to actually catch these minor things. Another example is, I don't know, political issues. So some countries are getting close or have some struggles, turmoils, and again, models do not have the signal implemented in a feed, so they can mistakenly provide not fitted supply. So we said, like, we have a proof of concept that it's working, but we couldn't find a proper tool on the market that would be just adjusted to our specific needs. So we as a group invested 8 months to develop our own product, and it was the best decisions that we could have made. So the first version of it that was based on similar others, it gave us 3 to 4 times higher engagement. And the second model that was based on curated propositions, so organizing data from the past historical searches of the users, it gave us 3 to 4 times higher conversion on the final steps or the transaction.
Pavel?
I actually have more of a question and something Arek started talking about. So we're on a verge. We're already in a new era where you have generative AI possibly being able to capture that signal, right? And how do you feel, guys, this will be changing it? And Agata, are you thinking about implementing, let's say, some form of agentic generative AI in order to better aid those models and to be able to find those very niche but strong signals for personalization, for prioritization, etc.?
So in order to address that, we have a hybrid of automated and manual signals. So we're also sending manual signals to give adjustments. These are like, availability, this is something that you can do more automatically. Political issues, this is something that you need to push in manually. But like, as we have this knowledge and we're like more able to pick up these small, adjustments and make sure that they are implemented in a model, we're able to react quickly. And this is something that external providers were not ready to offer to us.
I think it's what's coming out from it is a big difference between the market segments and the business models, right? Because in case of Agata, you guys are dealing with a very actually difficult product that is in constantly dynamically changing. It's both the availability and the offers. And based on like the particular period, also the demand is highly changing because there's a seasonality. When Piotrek, I think your product, I think I always thought Shibufot is like the perfect product, right? Because you can do everything, like you can do subscription, you can collect the data. As you said, right now people are happy to actually share their pets data, more happy than sharing their personal data, which is more sensitive. But it is easy case in a way of collecting the data and also like providing the product, and there's not much of fluctuation when it comes to the product. I'm sure there's some availability issues that you might also be dealing with, but not like in Agata's case. And I think, Pavel, you guys are also dealing with some availability issues, right? Because there are humans on the other side, and if their time is not like stretchable to every extent. So I think there are differences still between these models. And I would say personalization issue for the direct to consumer like product-based, physical products-based company is a little bit easier than for the marketplace dealing with services, for example. but I wanted to ask you one thing, because you guys kind of are right now separating product from marketing, and you kind of say that personalization is a part of marketing. But I had this thought that actually it could be a part of a product, right? Like it's a part of the unique selling point for actually all of you guys. Would you agree or disagree?
So for us, yes, personalization is absolutely more on the product side. On marketing, it's more of like who do you talk to about in a certain way. But yeah, I would say that the theme of our products, mine, Piotr, and Agata's, um, is that we probably do more of personalization in the lifecycle marketing than in the initial, let's say, conversion marketing. Certainly very true for us.
Yeah, I will. Well, 100%. It's the product is highly personalized. Nonetheless, like I will share a short story of like my initial approach in the very early days of Psi being live. So at the very early beginning, I was trying to make it as personal as possible. So technically speaking, if you are interested in our product, you got the dog, you want to provide the best possible food on the market, you enter the site, provide all of the details about its weight, current physical conditions, breeds, all of the good stuff like shape and so. And that allows us, technically speaking, to catch how many calories the dog should be eating on daily basis. And secondly, let's say remove any sort of allergies, so recipes that are not suitable for a certain dog because of it has health conditions, allergies, and so. So my initial approach was that like almost every meal was personalized, and I tried to cook for each individual dog, perfect amount. So 382 grams for Rafik and 222 grams for Azor, right? And that doesn't build a scalable model. So at the end of the day, it constrained the business to grow. So eventually, like currently, the way the business works, like the diet is personalized, but it's being closed within certain amount of recipes that we offer. So currently 8 in Poland. And second dimension is basically the pouch size, and we're trying also to limit it, but again make it suitable for the dog. So we got pouches for small dogs, like medium size, so from basically 125 grams a day to 1.2 kilo a day for bigger dogs. And again, like at the end of the day, that gives us the opportunity to personalize the product, but also build a scalable model, to attract more dogs on the market.
Very important perspective, right? Like it already was said by Agata too. Like you have to merge client with business perspective, because otherwise it might be just too expensive to break through this first growth ceiling, right? That you need to break through in order to build successful business. Now, we're already talking for a while, so I'm going to be starting with some questions that are going to be taking us to the conclusion. And I think first one is about some easy wins. So if you could recommend to other business owners how to approach personalization at these early stages of a business, like what can they do? What should they take care about in order to really use it, but not limit, of course, their business potential?
I have a very quick lesson. I've learned that from guys at Booksy. Pick up the phone and call your customer. Literally, early on, just talk to them over the phone, and then learn what they're after.
Yeah, I like it. In AI era, it's becoming less common, but even more interesting for customers, actually, when someone calls with a question, not with an offer.
What I
And
would add to that, because like this is good idea and we do it quite often, but it is time consuming and you can just do it on a very like limited scale. But you can also extend it to ask your consumer on the website. So you don't need to gather the data, but like as you have the forms here, you can ask them, do you want to be led by me or do you want to have access to the wide range? So give them this access and make it transparent and visible, and let them make the decision. So you can gather this data and leave the choice to the customers on the website and within the touch points that you serve.
Yeah, I completely agree. Well, with both again. I think it very much depends on what stage the business is and how much data, how much customers, what is the life stage of certain business. I would say the main advice, I mean, from me would be not to over engineer the thing, especially at the early beginning. So actually picking up the phone and calling your customers might be the best way to personalize the business if it's like very early on. The further, like the bigger traction, the more data you have, like you're not going to be able to call all of your customers, but then like you can work through the tools and that will help you to personalize the experience. And yeah, I would say, well, also depending on the type of the business, because if like you're brick and mortar, you probably have less of personalized abilities than like full digital business. Nonetheless, like probably everywhere, like you can find your key moments to bring and lift up the customer experience. So I know it's like not, let's say, taking the case of Travelist, like you can probably personalize it more on the site, like with your CRM communication. But then we have customer coming into the hotel, and yeah, this most likely belongs mostly to a hotel ownership, but like, yeah, some adjustment and personalized experience for those customers is probably also a thing.
It's true, especially when we take into consideration that travel is as a product with a like high emotional attachment. So when we speak with our customers on the phone and we use some simple agents to provide us data about these customers, and we say like, hi Piotr, how did you enjoy your holiday? Have your kids had fun? Because like we know that you were traveling with two, or with your dog, like was your dog, looked after in a place. So this is something that builds loyalty and lifetime value for sure.
And maybe Arek, I don't know if you want to add something to it. I would love for you to do, but I also want you to kind of start answering one of the other final questions, which is about the actual measures. What are the measures? What are the KPIs that businesses should pay attention to, especially when they want to see if whatever efforts they do towards personalization is bringing fruit, or maybe it's actually limiting their potential?
Yeah, so it's always lifetime value, but to calculate this lifetime value properly, you need to have a set of data, so you need some time to collect them and to see if the customer is returning or not, and sometimes you don't have that time. So like good proxies are, first one, conversions, so the conversion rate, and the second one, the retention rate for a specific segment that was like that you're like tracking, that received the personalization. And you cannot forget about like having the treatment of the control group. So you always have to have like at least like 10 to 15% of the people that you want personalized communication for. Leave it have like, you don't expose this group, that the control group for personalization, because you have to have some benchmark to compare your results to. And I think when you don't have like a analytical, let's say, mindset, you can easily forget about it and just like look at the numbers and say they're like bigger than the numbers last month, and that's because of the personalization. But it can be seasonality, for example. So the conclusions can be wrong. But again, if you are a small business, you don't have like enough customers enough like cases to draw your conclusions from. So you rely on, let's say, bigger conversion rate or bigger retention rate. And when you are like bigger company and the segments or micro segments are quite big, let's say, you can do it properly. So have a treatment group, and a control group.
Any other KPIs, guys, that you would say are important to track?
So I'll jump in. I agree with Arek, and yeah, I would say those are like really key. Maybe one more area where it's possible also with some scale to deliver a personalized experience. Like in our case, already quite a tangible business, so quite a lot of customers we are almost constantly in contact with, because technically speaking, you get your box every 2, 3 to 4 weeks. And as we know, like if you get a volume, you're delivering, in our case, something physical, there's always something wrong that can happen. So customer reach out, and we call it customer love, but yeah, customer satisfaction, customer care department is also an area which, on one hand, could be leveraged with sort of automation, including AI, like using chatbots instead of like, people just taking the phone or like responding to emails. This is really, really beneficial. However, like it's good to take a look on customer satisfaction level and CSAT as a metric here, because at this point, like with the data that we're having, or the data like a bigger business can possess and have, like you can really deliver a personalized experience. Nonetheless, it doesn't always transfer to the satisfaction level of customer who would rather call you, write an email, or so checking this metric is also key, I would say.
Yeah, I think this is becoming a topic at all the AI-based panels that I was attending recently, as where businesses start hearing dissatisfaction from the AI-based customer support, and that they actually want to talk to humans. And sometimes this is where the huge frustration is in, that basically they pick up the phone and they just really scream they want to talk to human. And you can lose a customer, and really this is the customer already, so this is a bigger loss than maybe the gain you made from removing all these customer support assistants. So I think a very interesting perspective. I know, guys, that we have to be going till the end, and I know, Piotrek, you will be disappearing in 2 minutes because of your time restrictions. What I want to ask for the very end, like a one piece of advice, maybe Piotrek, you just throw it, and then the other guys will roll for the end of this panel for businesses who want to look at personalization. What is your one super short piece of advice?
Oh, I think I already gave it. So don't try to over-engineer at the early beginning. Uh, the bigger the business gets, probably the more data you're gonna be having, the more personalized messaging you're able to provide. If you're trying to do like superbly narrow segments at the very tiny business, is probably not the way to go. So this is probably the only advice from me. You're muted, Eva.
Thank you so much, Piotrek, and thank you so much for attending this panel. And then Pavel, your super short and quick piece of advice for ambitious business owners who want to personalize.
Use common sense, I think, to develop on what Piotrek said, which surprisingly is very uncommon. But yeah, absolutely use common sense and have patience. It will take time. Work with people long term, whether it's your internal team or a marketing agency. It really, really often takes time to get it right. Yeah, it was supposed to be short.
Perfect, I got that.
So I would say that the best and most effective personalization is when users don't feel that they are tracked and being forced to do things, but that they are assisted, and we are there to help them and not to push them to do things.
Great, thank you. And Arek?
So don't over personalize because usually it doesn't make sense and costs you a lot of effort. But when you have like a big scale, always do the experiment. So always have a treatment and control group because that's the main mistake people are making.
Thank you. And I will just add on top of it for the very end that you guys brought a very cool perspective that is in contrary to the whole event a little bit, right? Because we say like, oh, personalized, 80% of customers say they want to have personalized message and they're worth more. And this is the data we're finding in the market and they're true. But there's also a second part of the truth that in order to grow your business, you have to keep a balance between personalization and marketing. And this marketing will have to always open your business to new customers. Some of these customers are not ready to be personalized. Some of these customers don't want to be personalized even at the start of a journey. So you have to balance these two acts in order to get started, in order to keep going, and even in order to grow. And sometimes these balancing acts will have to happen at the start, sometimes when you want to break through some growth ceiling. So thank you guys. That was very eye-opening, I think, and I hope people who listened to it got the perspective that, you know, personalization is a great hype, but it's not the end of the story, and it's not the only way to go about to scale your businesses. Thank you so much for this panel, and have a great day. Bye.
Thank you for
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.